Hi there, it's Diane. Welcome to my basement. Today, we're going to look at multiplication. So, if you open up your book to page 50, you will see that there's a method for multiplying a factor by another factor, so two numbers together, in order to find their product or their answer. This method can be represented with base 10 blocks. Here is how to find the product of 145 times 2 using this method. The first thing they want you to do is to place one factor on top of the other. So one number times another number. They also want you to represent the first factor with base 10 blocks. So our first factor is 145. We represent 145 by having 100 in our hundreds column, 4 tens in our tens column, and 5 units in our units column. 145. Excellent. Now what they want us to do is they want to multiply the second factor, the one below, by a unit of the first factor. So we're going to start in our units column. So if you look, we had 145. Now they want to make another set, another group of 5. So in your book, it's red. You'll see this, they've multiplied 5 2 times. This represents 2 times the 5 units. Now what they've done is you can see that 5 plus 5, it equals a whole tens unit. So they've marked off the 2 5 units and they moved it to the tens column. So now we have 150. So if you look at 145 times 2, they multiplied 5 times 2 is 10. They put a 0 in their units column because we don't have any more units left. And they moved the 1 above the 4 in the tens column because we've moved our 5 and 5 units. We've combined them into a 10 and moved it over to our tens column. So now that we've done our units column, we can move on to our tens column. They want you to multiply the second factor on the bottom, so our 2 again, by the tens of the first factor on top. So we've done our units, now we're moving on to our tens, still with the number 2. Here we get 2 times 4 equals 8. So we had base 10 we had, using our base 10 blocks, 4, so 4 sticks of 10, which equals 40. Then we doubled it. We times it by 2. We have another set of 40, so this represents 2 times the 4 in our tens units. 2 times 4. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But don't forget we had that 1 group of 10 before. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 that we had carried over equals 9. So this is what's really important to remember, is that you multiply your factors first, so 2 times 4, and then you add after the number on top that you've carried over. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. After you've completed your units, then you've multiplied your tens, you move on to your hundreds column. So you start in the least value first and you go to your highest value in multiplying. So here we're going to multiply the second factor on the bottom, which is our 2, by our hundreds column. You will notice that 2 times 1 equals 2. They want you to write 2 in the hundreds position in your product. your product means the answer. We find that the product of 145 times 2 is 290. I think we're ready for some practice. That was a lot of words, a lot of graphics looking at our base 10 blocks, but once we start practicing, it usually makes a little more sense. So we are now on, what page are we on? We are on page 52. On page 52, you see 132 times 2. 132 times 2. So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, which column do we start in? Now, if you want to do your base 10 blocks, you like to draw them, then let's do that first. We have 132. 132. I want to multiply that by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. We go to our tens column. 3 times 2 is 6. And 2 times 1 is 2. So we have 264. Let's see if we got that right. 132 times 2 is 264. We didn't have to regroup that time, did we? Let's check out 140 times 2. So we can draw our base 10 blocks. We have 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, and I don't have anything in my units column. That's okay. We'll just leave it blank. So we start in our units. 2 times 0. Well, if I have nothing, then I just do nothing again. It stays 0. Now I look at my tens column. I had 4. I have to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 2 times 1, I'm going to make another 1 there. 2 times 1 is 1, 2. So I should have 280. 140 times 2 is 280. How's it going? Are you ready for a little more of a challenge? Let's look at page 53. 22 times 4. I don't have to do my hundreds column, so I'm going to stick with my tens column for this one. I have 2 units and 2 tens. But look, I'm doing it 4 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 22 times 4. So we have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. 4 times 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. And 4 times 2, but this 2 represents 20, doesn't it? So 4 times 20 is 20, 40, 60, 80. So 22 times 4 is 88. It's the same as 22 plus 22 plus 22 plus 22. 102 times 4. I want to show you it this way. 102 times 4. So we start, I'm going to do a little circling So we start with our ones column. 2 times 4 is 8. I'm going to move on to my tens column. 4 times 0 is 0. And I move to my hundreds column. 1 times 4 is 4. Have you ever seen it like that, where people do these little circles to help them? I've seen that before. It helps me remember where I'm multiplying my numbers. If you want to draw out 102, you can do that as well. So you take 100 and 1, 2, and you do that 4 times. 102, 102. I'm going to need another sticky here, people. 102. 4 times 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. But I didn't have any in my tens column. So 4 times nothing in my tens column is going to be 0. And then 100 4 times is 100, 200, 300, 400. So I have 102 times 4 equals 408. I hope that's working for you. Let's move on. Okay. Find the products, represent the multiplications as needed. 32 times 3. So we have 32 times 3. Let's look at this. What numbers do I need to multiply first? 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then our tens columns. So 30 times 3, or 3 times 3 is 9. But it represents 90, doesn't it? So we have 32 times 3 equals 96. Let's see if we got that right. Yeah, we did. Let's look at B. So that was A. Let's look at B. 102 times 4. Let's start with our ones column. 2 times 4. It's the same as 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 4 plus 4. It's 8. 4 times 0 is 0. And 4 times 1 is 4. So B, 102 times 4 is 408. That number sounds familiar. 408. Hey, it's the same one. Those tricky people. 102 times 4. All right. C. Moving along. Nothing to see here. 24 times 3. 24 times 3. I like this one. We're going to have to regroup. Let's see if we remember what to do when we have to regroup. We start with our ones column. We have 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. We're going to put the 2 because it's in the ones position in the number 12. And we need to carry the 10. Now, when I carry the 10, I like to put plus 1 because that reminds me that I have to add it at the end. We have to do 3 times 2 first. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then we add 1 to make it 72. 24 times 3 equals 72. What if I made a mistake? What if I had written 24 times 3? I knew that 4 times 3 was 12, but I've seen before where some students, what they'll do is they'll add 1 plus 2 and get 3, and then they do 3 times 3, but 3 times 3 is 9, and that's not 72. So you have to be very, very careful. You do not add these first. You need to do the multiplication first and then add the number that you carried over. Very important. Let's look at D. D says 71 times 2. 71 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And 7 times 2? What's 7 times 2? What if you don't remember 7 times 2? What's another way you can figure it out? You can count by 2's 7 times. So you can go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Or you can do 7 plus 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. So 7 times 2 is 14. So 71 times 2 is 142. And that's how you do multiplication. I want to see if you can do 2 word problems. Let's try this. Okay, let's start with this one. There are blank sides in 8 pentagons. How many sides are in 8 pentagons? What information do I have to know to figure this problem out? I have to know what a side is. I have to know what a pentagon is. What's a pentagon? Do we remember? A pentagon is a shape that has 5, let's see if I can draw it, sides. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 equal sides. That's not bad. So here's a pentagon. It has 5 sides. So a side is along the outside, right? So this one, a pentagon is a shape, closed figure, 5 equal sides. Okay. But I want to know how many sides are in 8 pentagons. So am I going to draw a pentagon 8 different times? How can I do this quickly with multiplication? What 2 factors do I have to multiply together to find out how many sides there would be in 8 pentagons? What do we think? 8? Yeah? Times 5. That's correct. 8 times 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. If you don't know that, you can count on your hands by 5s until you get to 8 fingers. So here are 8 fingers, so I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 8 times 5 is 40. You're right. There are 40 sides in 8 pentagons. What if I asked you how many sides in 16 pentagons? Well, if I already know 8, and I know that 8 times 2 is 16, I could just take 40 and multiply it by 2, because I know 8 times 2 is 16, so 40 times 2, 0 times 2 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8, there should be 80. Or, some of you are thinking, what if I just take 16 times 5? It should be the same answer. So let's check. 6 times 5. So I have 6 fingers. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 0 in my ones column. Bring up my 3. Remember, we've done our ones, now we have to do our tens. Do multiplication first and then add. 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 7, 8. 80. There are 80 sides in 16 pentagons. Okay, are you ready for the last one? It's going to be a short video. Here we go. Just going to flip it over. Nora has 3 dimes and 9 nickels. How much money does she have all together? Nora has 3 dimes and 9 nickels. How much money does she have all together? What information do you need to know to solve this problem? Well, you need to know how much a dime is worth, and you need to know how much a nickel is worth. How much is a dime worth? Yeah, 10 cents. So I'm going to take my 10 and I'm going to multiply it by 3. Then you need to know how much a nickel is worth. That's worth 5. So I'm going to take my 9 and I multiply it by 5. Now we're talking about cents. It's less than $1. Keep that in mind. So we have 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. So here we have 30 cents, or decimal point 30 dollars. They equal the same. If we had 9 nickels, 9 times 5, what you can do is your hands and you put down your 5th finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the numbers, the fingers to the left are your tens, so 40, and the fingers to your right are your ones, so 45. 9 times 5 is 45. So we can say 45 cents or 0.45. Nora has 3 dimes, 9 nickels. How much money does she have all together? Did we solve that? How much money she has all together? How much money does she have all together? What do we have to do? We have to add. Since we learned decimals, let's add our decimals. So we have 0.30 for money. And we're going to add $0. We're going to line up our decimal points. 45. And that equals, I'm going to bring down my decimal point, 0 plus 5 is 5. 3 plus 4, 7. She will have 75 cents. I wonder what she can buy with 75 cents. If I gave you 75 cents, what do you think you would do with 75 cents? I think I would save it. Sometimes I like to go for a walk and you find money on the ground, and if you save enough, you can get some, I don't know, small candy at the dépanneur, at your convenience store. Okay, that's it. So, stay curious, and I'll see you next time. Bye.